You can shape your destiny, or can you? The fate of the caterpillar is disappearance. Its destiny is transcendence. There definitely is an element of predetermination in life, but there's also an element of free will in life. The question is, to what degree? Hello, good people of the internet. Welcome to another episode in Ask a Human, Not an AI with Chetan Nara. Today's question is probably the shortest question I've ever received so far in this series of episodes. It is from Shankar Muppiri, and he asks me, is everything in life predestined? Is there something called destiny? Is astrology true? I like this question, and I would be honest with you. This is something that I've discussed multiple times with multiple people, but this is the first time I'm actually talking about it on the YouTube channel. I think so. Maybe I did a podcast episode 2 on it. If I have, I will link it down below in the description. But whenever I'm talking about astrology, whenever I'm talking about fate and destiny, I like to start with this visualization. Let's see how this goes today. The visualization is about a game, a game of pool, billiards, snooker, or a game of carom board, if you will, whatever rocks your boat. Now, imagine, visualize that a game is about to start. So, the balls on the snooker, pool, billiards table, or the pieces on the carom board are arranged neatly, and you're just about to take that first shot. Now tell me whether the first shot determines everything that will happen going forward in the game. Of course not, right? If the first shot goes perfectly well, even then you cannot guarantee that because of the fact that your first shot was perfect, everything else in the game would be perfect, would be even good for that matter. And conversely, if your first shot did not go as planned, that does not mean that everything in the game will not go as planned now. So the first shot, of course, determines what happens going forward in the game. To a large extent, it does. But it is not the end all be all. It is one of, let's say, the million other things that will determine what happens throughout the game going forward. Now, this is an analogy which I hope you were able to draw. This is whenever people are thinking about fate, destiny, astrology, predeterminism, free will, they sort of miss this point that either we land on one extreme where we think that everything is predetermined, everything is determined by whatever has already happened, and therefore I cannot change anything. Everything is predetermined. And on the other side, people may end up believing that predeterminism, fate, destiny is absolute bullshit. It's absolute garbage. Both of these extreme positions are garbage. Both of these extreme positions are bullshit. Because just imagine for a second, if you were outside and if you're looking at someone playing a game of pool or playing a game of carom, and they were completely depressed about how their first shot went, whether it went bad or whether it went good. If they were completely overawed, overwhelmed by what has happened in the first shot itself, and they're not able to focus on the shot at hand, they're not able to focus at the present moment in the game, you would want them to take a break, and you would want them to sit back and think about what is the present moment shot that they can take, because eventually that is what matters. Much more than anything else, that is what matters. So therefore I would say that astrology, predeterminism, it of course determines to a large degree, to a large extent, what path your life can take. Your first shot, how you were born, where you were born, the alignment of stars and planets and all the rest of it, the alignment of the entire universe when you were born. Of course it matters. It matters because it determines who you are. But that is not all you are. That does not determine 100% of your life. It is maybe one of the 20 million different forces that are acting at any given moment. And one of those 20 million forces is also your free will. If you tap into the freshness of the moment, if you tap into your free will in the moment, you know that astrology, predeterminism, fate does not govern everything. Now, that is the extent to which I would want to talk about astrology, because I'm not an expert on the subject. I've never even studied the subject. So I would end it there, but I would also want to tell you that there is a word of caution I would want to give you, because like everything, almost everything that human beings are doing right now, even with astrology, most of what is available out there is absolute garbage. It's absolute profit minting business, and it's not real stuff. It's not soulful stuff. It's not stuff that will change your life. So if you're someone who's planning to go into it, I cannot guide you as to which astrologer to go to or which app to use and whatnot. But I can definitely tell you, I can definitely advise you to use your discernment before getting into it. Because almost all of it is profit minting business, much like the rest of almost everything that we're doing right now. Let's talk a bit about fate and destiny now. You ask me if everything in life is predetermined. Short answer, no, it's not. At least not in the manner that we want it to be. When we think about predeterminism, we want there to be this perfect little story, a very good narrative of how everything that happened in life was bound to happen. And most of the story is always prepared in hindsight. So we're thinking about the past and we're thinking that yes, all of this was bound to happen because here we know the different causes and effects. At least that is the coherent story in our mind. We know the cause and effect, the entire chain of cause and effect that led to where we are today. And therefore, there is this element of predeterminism that kicks in where we think everything that happened was bound to happen. Now, there is a level of truth to it, but there's also something that is a little bit of a nuance, a little bit of a wordplay also that we usually miss out. But I think the best way to understand it is via these two words, fate and destiny. Now, I was recently having this very deep, meaningful conversation with a friend, Rocco Jarman. I've talked about his work multiple times on my channel. He gave me this quote which appeared to him in a deep meditation session. No one really knows the true sources for these things, right? He reads a lot, he practices meditation a lot. So from where this quote came up to him, no one knows. But the quote is absolutely relevant to what we're talking about here, about fate and destiny. The quote is, the fate of the caterpillar is disappearance. The destiny is transcendence. I'll repeat it once more. The fate of the caterpillar is disappearance. Its destiny is transcendence. Now, if you talk a little bit about the life cycle of a caterpillar, the caterpillar is initially an egg. So let's say the egg is the origin. It becomes a caterpillar. It then becomes one more state, I don't know, a chrysalis or whatever is the name. And then it becomes a butterfly. So, in one manner of speaking, you can say that the caterpillar is the intermediate stage in the evolution of life that is happening from egg till butterfly. So, the fate of the caterpillar is disappearance. It's bound to happen. Its fate is disappearance. It will disappear, but it may or may not become a butterfly. Its destiny was to transcend this life and become a full fledged butterfly, showing off all exhibition of life that this little egg could have shown, had the possibility for. But this is its destiny. It's not bound to happen. I hope you're able to draw the analogy between what I mean when I differentiate between fate and destiny. In one manner of speaking, you cannot escape your fate. Your fate is bound to happen, but your destiny is a possibility. You may or may not reach your possibility. You may or may not reach your destiny. And that is a very important difference. Now, when it comes to even your fate, it may so happen with you that even though you are experiencing a lot of things, but because you're so conditioned by the drama of your life, by the current situation of your life situation, you may totally miss that your fate is also happening for you. You may start to think that whatever is happening with you is actually happening to you. So you may not even consciously register the fact that if even if this is your fate, it's happening for you. It's happening for you to make you into the human being that you could be, to take you towards your destiny. But your destiny is a possibility. It may or may not happen. And whether it can happen or not, the first trigger for that will definitely be unlearning, will definitely be the unlearning that you have to go through so as to unlearn the sticky attachment you have to the drama of your life, the sticky attachment you have to the little parts of your life that keep you small, keep you in your shell, that keep you attached to whatever it is that is going on here. Because unless you do that, you cannot really express the entire potentiality that you have within you, the entire potentiality that life has for you. This is the difference between fate and destiny. The fate of the caterpillar is disappearance. It's bound to happen. Its destiny is transcendence. It may or may not happen. It is the potentiality that is hidden within this life form, within this egg out of which the caterpillar appeared. But whether it will reach its destiny or not, that's not a guarantee. And this is true for all of us. We cannot escape our fates, but we may get so attached to our fates, we may get so attached to whatever is happening in our life that we miss our destiny. And one more way of thinking about your destiny is actually the purpose of your life. And that was the subject matter of episode 1, season 2 of my podcast, where I talked about what is the purpose of life and how can you go about finding your purpose in life. I would highly recommend checking out that episode. And that's about it. I hope this answers your question, Shankar. I hope this helps you unlearn something. I hope this helps you relieve you of something and gives you something deeper to think about. Until next time, peace out.